Alright, here I am back in the shop again. What brings me out here today? Yesterday, during my lunch break at work, I was browsing the internet and I came across an article talking about a tweet that was sent out by Chris Evans. Chris Evans, for those who don't know, is the actor who plays Captain America. So, read the tweet real quick here. Here's his tweet. Not anti-gun, but certain weapons should only be in certain hands. I support Massachusetts Attorney General enforcement of the assault weapons ban. So, Captain America in favor of gun control. Pissed me off. Okay. So I decided to take a quick look this morning at, I guess, the thought process behind wanting to ban assault weapons. The left is constantly screaming that assault weapons are the #1 choice of mass shooters, that they are often used to kill mass amounts of people. So let's look at that. If that's their logic, that's the reason they want to ban assault weapons. Let's take an actual logical look at that. See if that stands up to any kind of scrutiny. So I wrote an article this morning. This video is just to accompany that. All the numbers, all the links to the articles that I'm referencing in this video will be in that article. That article will be linked in the bottom of the description of this video for those who want to confirm my numbers. So, first thing we got to figure out is they always point to the AR-15 as if that's the ideal evil weapon that needs to be banned. So let's look at this. We got to figure out how many AR-15s actually are out there that they want to ban in private hands. Started doing some Googling to figure that out, and despite the fact that you can find dozens and dozens of articles screaming about the proliferation of AR-15s, I couldn't find any that actually gave numbers until I stumbled upon one on slate.com. Obviously, if you're not aware of it, Slate is a very liberal website. I'm using, since this is a liberal argument, I'm using their numbers, their sources. So, Slate, in an article that was written in December of 2012, about a week after Sandy Hook occurred, they came out with, they listed all their reasoning for their number, and I'm going to just list their their final number here. Like I said, the article will be linked in their article is linked in my article. Add everything together, make all the necessary caveats, carry the two, and we reach the conclusion that there are somewhere around 3,750,000 AR-15 type rifles in the United States today. And again, that's December of 2012. So the next thing we need to look at, that's how many AR-15s they're saying are out there. Honestly, I think the number is probably quite a bit higher than that. I would guess somewhere near closer to 5 million. There's been a huge run on AR-15s ever since December of 2012 when the left started talking about trying to ban them again. And his numbers don't account for anything such as 80% ARs that have been built at home that are totally legal. So now we need to look at how many mass shootings there are that were involving AR-15s. So doing a whole bunch more Googling, I can find all kinds of articles that allude to the fact that there's hundreds of these, but none of them actually giving specific numbers. Part of the problem is they don't actually track the rifle make and model or the weapon make and model. They track categories. So the AR-15 falls into the rifle category. The best article I could find to list the numbers of mass shootings that involved AR-15s was one on bustle.com. I was not familiar with that website, never seen it before, so I did a little bit of reading in this article to figure out if it was a conservative or a liberal website. By the time I got to the end of the second paragraph, it was pretty apparent that it's a liberal website. So using their numbers, which they actually got most of their numbers, the author of that article looked at the mass shooting tracker on Mother Jones and used the information provided from that mass shooting tracker. Just noteworthy here, he was unable to determine if it was an AR-15 or some other assault weapon, so he just lumped all assault weapon incidents together. Also noteworthy, these aren't just mass shootings. They left, in typical left fashion, is using terrorist attacks such as San Bernardino and Orlando. They're using those to bump their numbers. So those don't fit mass shooting categories. Those are actually terrorist attacks. But since they're using them, we'll include them. So his final number is, and here's his words, of the 48 total mass shootings since 2004, 13 featured semi-automatic or assault rifles. All right, so that's 13 incidents in the last 12 years that they're saying. Sorry about that. 13 incidents in the last 12 years that they're attributing to assault weapons, even though they're saying AR-15s. So, logically speaking, one would want to examine how much a product is being misused before one decides to ban the product. Stands to reason, right? So, let's look at this. If you've got 13 mass shootings, and there are, using their numbers, 3,750,000 AR-15s out there, it's not hard to figure out. 13 divided by 3,750,000 comes out to 0.00000. I'm losing track. Here we go. Ready? It's an AR-15 stands a 0.00035% chance of being used in a mass shooting. That's ridiculously low. That's a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of a percent. So that's using their numbers. And since the number that they're using for the number of mass shootings included all assault weapons, let's take a look at that, not just AR-15s. So again, doing Google research, I was unable to find anything that told me, from a liberal publication anyway, that gave me an approximate number of how many assault weapons, what they classify as assault weapons, which includes a ton of different firearms. I can't find anything that tells me how many assault weapons are out there. So the best site I could find was goal.org, and it listed, there was a long article in there that looked at a whole bunch of stuff, but one of the things it included in there was how many assault weapons were approximately held in the United States at the time that article was written. Sadly, there's no date on the article, so I don't know when it was written. But at the time that thing was written, they estimated that there were 20 to 30 million assault weapons in the United States at the time. Actually, I take it back, they said assault rifles. So assault rifles in the United States in private ownership. So 13 mass shootings divided by 20 million is even a lower number, and it comes out to 0.000065% chance. So that's a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of a percent that an assault weapon will be used in a mass shooting. If you look at those numbers and you still want to ban assault weapons, it's clear to me that logic plays no role in your decision-making process. Wanting to ban assault weapons based on their actual use in mass shootings is like trying to swat a fly with a 100 megaton ICBM. Major, major overkill. There are other ways to solve the problem. Banning assault weapons is not one.